I start, I met this couple a little over a year ago, maybe 14 months ago, and I was impressed with them on the phone. They were a Keller Williams mega team, and I don't know, doing 60, 70 million a year in sales, pretty solid sales volume. And I was impressed with them. And I said, hey, I know it's short notice. They didn't get that call ever. But next week in San Diego, we're doing our annual shareholders meeting. It only happens once a year. By the way, write that down. Everything we're doing happens once a year. Okay? Our annual convention in October. This happens once a year. You cannot wait a year. In January, we're doing another leadership meeting like this in Scottsdale. It happens once a year. You with me? There's a sense of urgency, like I'm going to miss out. So I said, hey, if you fly from North Carolina, from Charlotte, all the way to San Diego, I believe in you guys so much, I will pay for your hotel room. And they're like, really? I go, I'll invest the money. Just get a plane, a train, hitchhike, find a way to get to San Diego, come out and check out EXP, what it's all about. Man, am I glad I did that. Because I think I bought them a $149 room or something. And are they up there? Yeah, they are. And 14 months later, Shelly Johnson and Craig LePage from Charlotte, North Carolina, have been signed up 33 personally and have an organization of 550 agents and broker that spans the East Coast. And so you got to learn how to promote to build this business. It's all about promoting and the people and getting people to events like this and what happened today at the pool, what happens on the golf course, just being together, loving on each other. They're amazing leaders. Help me welcome Shelly Johnson and Craig LePage. Give them a hand.
The party left out was Craig and I are not married, and he had to buy us 2 rooms. So he was not expecting that. He's like, really?
I'm Craig LePage. This is Shelly Johnson. We're from Charlotte, North Carolina. We have a pretty unique story. I'm going to give you a little background on us and our team first. We have a great team back in North Carolina and Charlotte. We've been in the industry for over 10 years. We have about 10 agents, 3 admin staff. We were at KW prior to EXP. We've been at EXP for about 14 months, and we have a pretty interesting story about how we got to EXP. So I'm going to go through that, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to Shelly, and she's going to talk about some different nuggets that we're going to talk about. It started out, we had no intention of coming to EXP. We didn't even know what EXP was. We were at an event in Charleston, another real estate event with some of our team members, and Shelly always has these great ideas, and she leans across the table and she's like, I've got this great idea. I'm like, okay, what is it? She's like, we've been talking about leading Keller Williams for a while, but there was like, we're always like, there's no greener grass, it's like, we're busy. It always catches up. We didn't love it. We didn't hate it. We're just heads down, do our business, grow. She's like, why don't we leave Keller Williams? We take all that money that we're giving to them, and we're not really getting any return. There's no end game. We're not using any of their tools. And why don't we do our own thing? And so I'm like, that's a great idea. She's like, we can take that money and invest it back into our business. And she's like, we could come up with some kind of bonus system and match 401ks. And I'm like, that's an awesome idea. So you know where I'm going with this. So I run into AJ Maida, who is also at Keller Williams. He's going to talk later on. And he had left about, I don't know, probably 8 months earlier. And he's like, hey, if you and Shelly ever leave Keller Williams, you should look at this company that I went to. And I'm really open, so I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to look at anything. I love to learn. So I'm like, what do you got? He's like, I'm going to send you a webinar. I watched a webinar, and I was like, wow. I'm like, this is what we've been talking about, but on a much, much larger scale. So I went to show Shelly, and she was a little resistant because once she's hyper-focused on something, she's like, no, we've got our thing. We're excited. We're already looking at space. because we have a big team. We had an idea to leverage our space and give back to our agents and do, events for our clients. And I finally got her to watch it, and she's like, about 10, 15 minutes into it, she's like, yeah, we need to look at this. This is almost too good to be true. So we got on the phone with AJ. AJ said, a couple different things, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to have you talk to the person that helped me understand it. He's like, I'm going to have you talk to this guy, Brent Gove. So we got on the phone with Brent. Brent's like, I want to do a FaceTime. So we're doing a FaceTime with Brent, and he goes through his whole thing, and he's like about San Diego and coming out to the shareholders meeting, and we didn't know it was next week. My wife's pregnant at the time, that we're in, May? The spring market's kicking butt. There's no way we're going anywhere. So we go through this whole thing. We're like, that was amazing. We talked about it after we hung up with him, and we both went home and slept on it. We came in the next day, and we were like, hey, I need to talk to you. Well, I'm like, I need to talk to you. So we decided, we're like, if we're going to do this idea, we need to go out and vet this company. So we bought tickets. No one on our team knew. We flew out to San Diego with like 3 days notice. And Brent was nice enough to put us in front of Glenn, Jason Gessing, Gene Frederick. I mean, we met with all these people, poked holes in this thing, and we sat through the shareholders meeting, and we basically came back that night, and we were like, there's no risk in this. The worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work, it's not true, and we just do what we were going to do. So we came back and we met with each of our team members. We love them, they love us. One of the things that Shelly said at that conference was, we're only as good as our next deal. And that was super impactful to me. I mean, it's so true. And that's where that idea of giving back to the agents and investing back into the agents, she's like, I don't want to be looking across the table 15 years from now with my friends who are on our team and know they're not in a good place because they're riding that roller coaster of real estate. So this really hit us hard when we saw this model. So we came back, and here's the results, but anything to add on that?
So we came back, and basically we started, we made the decision to make the move. Our focus was on our team, making sure that it was a smooth transition for them. I felt a huge responsibility to make sure that this didn't upset their business, that it didn't make a dent in what they were doing. We had to have it be business as usual immediately, and we did that. We found a path for them, and it happened very quickly. And then basically from there, we started getting phone calls, and what we did was we did what we always do. So we built our business on relationships, and if anybody knows me, they know that once you know me till I'm dead. So you're stuck with me forever. And Craig will tell you that when I'm in the car, I'm on the phone. So I got on the phone, started having conversations with people about their business and what it looked like to them and why we made this move for our team and ourselves and our future. And people started understanding. I wanted them to understand basically where it is they could potentially go for themselves. So exactly what everyone else has said, you have to make sure you ask them the right questions and focus on them. It's just like with our client relationships. I mean, I find where people have pain, and it may not even be a deal for 4, 5, 10 years. It doesn't really matter. It's about building that trust, and it comes back. I mean, when you give yourself, it just comes back 100%.
It's so true, and I mean, I'm a giving person, but she's a giving person. She is overboard sometimes, and you'll notice that the success of our business was based on that. Is based on giving first, giving value in everything we do. During a transaction, it's giving the best service and going over the top. And then if it's a cold lead, we're always giving value. We teach our agents to give value. What's one of the number one things that agents say when you say, hey, how many calls have you made to all these leads that are coming in there? So I don't know what to say to them. Well, give them value. See what they're looking at if they're in their search and they're looking at homes in, the most popular, one of the golf course communities in your town, and they're looking in that golf course community, and you know two other ones that are very similar. Say, hey, I know you noticed you were looking in this neighborhood. Here are two others like that. It's reaching out, and you're not automated, and then you can send them an email with that, and then follow up the next day and say, hey, did you get that email? I just wanted to make sure that you saw those two other places that I sent you. That gives value. That's above and beyond the automated stuff that other people are doing. So a couple more business nuggets that we help, that helps our businesses. Give constant value, like I just said. Build relationships. Keep those relationships going once you've completed the deal. I mean, many times people that we finish the deal, right? And then we go on to the next deal, and we forget about the people in the past. So stay in touch with them. What are some of the things that we do for our clients?
So basically what we do for our clients is we want to make sure, it's really hard to talk to every single person that you've done a transaction with. So what we do is we do an amazing event, a couple of them a year, and we make sure that those people feel loved on, and we do things, simple things as birthday cards, but it has to be on purpose. And I tell my team, I'm like, they probably think I'm a little crazy sometimes, maybe more times than I know. But I say, let's just put a date on the calendar, and I don't even know what the event's going to look. So I know we have events we do, but I may decide, let's do something else. But if you put a date to it, even this with recruiting or whatever it is that you have your idea for, if you set that date, then it's in your calendar, it's going to happen. But if you don't put a timeline on it, it's just like setting a listing appointment or a buyer appointment. You have to put a date on it. So that's what we do for our clients. We do amazing events. We go over the top when we do our events. I wish we had pictures, but it's pretty incredible. They come, in that business, it's like it comes from the hearts. They know that, they can feel it. It's not just going into a venue, it's transforming that venue, making it super special.
Well, one of the things that, I think we do really well as team leaders on our team, because Shelly's about the relationships. She's the one that gets out in the community and talks to people, and I like the back end stuff and the exposure and the marketing. So she creates those relationships in person, and I keep a lot of that exposure going to those people. So I always like to say continued creative content. We have all these tools that are free, and if someone said 15 years ago, I'm going to give you a radio show, a TV channel, and a newspaper, and you could print anything you want, you could make any show you want, you can record any radio show you want, and it's free. You would say, I'd crush it. We have that. That's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So exposure. So we were talking about that event. Take an event. An event is not only the event and the invite. It's the save the date. It's the invite. It's the video invite that's coming. It's the picture album of the event. It's live video at the event. It's the thank you cards after the event. It's the video of the event after. So, you could do 10 different things of exposure for business off of one event. That's huge for us. We'll go right into agent attraction. Once again, build relationships.
So when we talk to an agent about EXP, if I'm reaching out to them, I just start basically what a lot of you have said. Just start talking to them about where their pain points are. Like, I loved yesterday when Rob said, from 1 to 10, where do you rate your business? Because I think a lot of us don't really think of it that way. We think of it just like deal to deal. And I think when you help people be reflective in where they are with their life and their business and their goals for their family, you hit their heart, which is where they actually want to be. And a lot of times we just keep going through the motions of life, and we don't take time to reflect back on why we do this every day.
Couple of quick ones. I'm just going to go right down our list. I was thinking of different things that we do. When we talk to people about this company, we're so excited about stock and revenue share. Be careful about getting so excited about that. I think it's really important to talk about what we're doing here. We're meeting all these people. All these people are excited. So there's education, there's collaboration. We have relationships all over the country that we did not have sitting in a cubicle in a market center. We would get excited maybe once or twice a year going into an event. The event comes to us every day in EXP world and on Workplace and at these events. and text. It's unreal. People think they're going to be in an island because they're going to a cloud-based company. That's the complete opposite. So talk about that. Talk about the excitement. Talk about people will pick the people that they know, like, and trust. Everybody is talking to every person that's not with this company. So if there's 100 people in your town that are with EXP, you know, they're going to talk to the person that you're going to probably talk to at some point and have a relationship. And they are like, they already talked to me 5-6 times. It's driving me crazy. But if you have a relationship with that person and they know you, they like you, they trust you, that's the person that they're going to listen to. The other people, they're just not going to even look at a webinar or listen to it. So that's, I think, really important. Interview agents that have come to the company. I think this is huge. AJ does a lot of this. We started doing a lot of this. A lot of people around the country. Everybody here has a story of why they did it, and it's very impactful. So interview them. Use things like Zoom or Be Live TV. AJ uses that. We use that. That's awesome. That's live on Facebook while you're doing the interview. You'll get about 700 to 2,000 views right off the bat on that. And then give back to your agents. We have a space. We leverage our space that we rent by doing education weekly to all of our agents. And then, you know, we have Facebook groups as well.
So we use, we'll basically train your group to be leaders. I mean, we all are now leaders. We didn't used to be. We would look to other people, and your teams may not, or your organizations may not see themselves as a leader. So it's really important to help them visualize themselves that way and give them the tools to be able to instill the leadership in them so that they can see, and you put them in an opportunity where they're comfortable so that they can actually show up. And what will happen is your leaders will just start to rise up. And if you allow them to lead and you gather together, even no matter, like our whole town for EXP has gathered together, and it didn't matter whether they're in an organization or not, we all work together and collaborate, and if you can do that, there's power in numbers.
I'm going to end because we're rambling on and on. But I think one of the most important things to do is the people that are in your organization, especially the ones that are local in your area, give back and team up together. We have amazing leadership in our area, and we have grown like crazy. In the 14 months that we've been at EXP, you can see we're at 559. And with leaders like AJ and Bill that you saw yesterday, and Keely, they're all from Charlotte. We are hopefully the biggest fire in the basement, and we want to be. When we started last year, there was about 100, I think, AJ was about 100 agents, 120 agents in North Carolina. We're up around 1,000 right now. It's just growing like crazy. So I'll end. They wanted to know what that equals. It's about $30,000 a month right now. It grows about 8 to 10% a month. Thank you.